Oh, how we all doing? Just a bit of light reading. Do us a favour and smash that like down below. I'll give you a minute. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. Yeah, we all done? Right. So, as you've probably gathered by the thumbnail, today we're here to discuss the Dior Homme lineup. Now, we will eventually arrive at the latest edition, as controversial and divisive as it is. But we're going to gloss over everything that I've got here, which is pretty much everything, apart from a few, really old batch original formulations of a few of the flankers, but pretty much got all bases covered here. So if you want to know what I think about the Dior Homme lineup, then stick around. Alright guys, as promised, the Dior Homme buying guide. Welcome back. And, I'll just get right in about it now. Start things off with what started it off, Dior Homme. This is a formulation from before Dior Homme 2020 arrived, and I've not actually smelt what is now sold as Dior Homme Original, so I can't really testament to how different it is from this. But I mean, there might have been iris in men's fragrances. Well, there will have been, won't there? But really, this is what brought iris and the use of iris in men's fragrances to the forefront of mainstream perfumery, really. And this is what I love about, well, the Dior of days gone by. There were innovators, there were, brave, and for a designer company, that wasn't really, I mean, maybe in the 80s, you know what I mean, but like of modern times, it wasn't seen to be a common thing, but those days are gone, it seems. Apart from if you consider 04, because that was daring, but a failure. But yeah, first mainstream really men's release to have the use of iris. And I wasn't really a fragrance fanatic back then when this was released, and I don't even know if I was aware of it at the time, but I bet you there was some dropped jaws. But wow, I love iris. I don't know how many fragrances I've got with iris in, but it must be 30 or so. Lovely, absolutely beautiful. So I'll bring up the listed notes here, but what I get from it, a little bit of lavender along with some bergamot in the top, and you've got that Florentine iris in the mid with some cacao and a little bit of amber, and then it dries down into, you get a little bit of vetiver in the dry down with some patchouli, but the cacao, like, you would think it would be there to help out with the patchouli, maybe, but I think it just, with the Florentine iris, it helps it be a really creamy iris, which is not the same as in what I'm about to talk about next. But yeah, I mean, performance is okay, you know what I mean? Like 6 hours. You might get 8, but I notice it for about 6 hours on my skin. But it's such a classy fragrance. I've got iris fragrances that I would happily, wear tracksuit bottoms and a hoodie with, but not with this. I would just feel like I wasn't doing it justice. I feel like you've got to be at least semi-formally dressed for this, but yeah, absolute banger. And what started the line, what started the legendary, up until now, legendary line. But yeah, Dior Homme, or Dior Homme Original. Now, what came next, at least I think it was next, Dior Homme Eau. I haven't got a lot of that left. This was gifted to me by my very good friend CJ. It was also a frag head, like a massive frag head as well. But I'll tell you what, right, this is beautiful, and it's a shame I've only got that left. Well, I've got a little sample atomizer type thing as well. I should really use it. I'm scared to use it to run out of it, but this is beautiful. Now this might remind you of things like Prada L'Homme, because it's really fresh. And I think you've got like a grapefruit note up in the top there. And it's quite a simplistic note breakdown. But it's got that Florentine Iris Absolute. And I think Virginia Cedar in the base. Oh, what? Very, you know, you can imagine it's going to have slightly inferior performance to the original, because it's got, you know, a fresher scent profile, but it really is quite invigorating, you know. You just smell it in the air there. Like I'm covered in fragrances. I've been road testing stuff today, and I'm gonna regret not having any bare skin as I'm going through these, because there's some bangers here. But yeah, a fresher alternative to what started off the line. Still got that Florentine Iris Absolute, which is also in that one, but it doesn't smell, and this is what leads me to think that the cacao was there to help out the iris in the original. It doesn't smell as creamy in this. It smells powdery, more powdery, and fresh, you know. Really, really good release. And this was discontinued a long time ago. But if I ever see another bottle, I'll be sure to pick it up, because I'm afraid to run out of that. But yeah, that's Dior Homme Eau. Oh, sorry. Did I mention performance? Yeah, I said it was inferior, but yeah. You know, you're only really going to get 4-5 hours of a push. You need to douse yourself. You need to get the most out of it. But it's absolutely fantastic. Now then, what I want to talk about next, Dior Homme Intense. Now this is, I think the 2017 formulation. Not entirely sure, but no. Oh fuck. Oh, it's so good. Now, just like with Dior Homme Eau, it's got the Virginia Cedar in the base, and in the mid, obviously you've got that iris. It's really good in this as well. You've got ambrette seed, which is, another way to describe it is like amber. I think that's why it's called ambrette, but there's sort of like a muskiness with it, you know. Not really animalic. It's got the lavender in the top, which you do struggle to pick out. Well, you don't struggle to pick it out, but you struggle to identify it as lavender because of the overwhelming, beautiful, dominant iris, and the vetiver and the cedar in the base. Now, some people say this is unisex. Obviously, it's called Dior Homme, isn't it? You know what I mean? So it's intended for men. But you wouldn't think it's strange to smell it on a woman. I love this smell. You know, if I could have my house smelling like this, like in wax belt burners and stuff like that, I'd never leave. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This is the only formulation that I've tried. There is previous formulations. I think 2011 was the first release, along with, to my mind, the first Dior Homme. So they must have directly followed it. People say, just like with most things, that the earlier formulations were better, but this is my only experience of this flanker. But it's beautiful. You know, sometimes I come up here and just sniff things. Of course, you know, no matter what I'm wearing, I like to come up here and just sniff stuff, and this and the Parfum are regulars. Good performance, you know, 8 hours, noticeable wear. This is something for I mean, it's not as formal leaning or formal demanding as the Parfum, but it's not something that I would consider a versatile fragrance at all. Seasonality, everything apart from high heat of summer. This is a monumental release. I think it's more likable than the Parfum. It probably reaches more people. I mean, it's more widely available for a start. I'm talking about the original Parfum here in comparisons. It is more widely available, and probably, you know, there's a reason for that. They test these things in focus groups and stuff like that, don't they? So when the Parfum was released, I imagine, you know, I don't think Dior intended for it to be mass appealing. You know, it was an exhibition of his craft, and such a good one. Actually, I'm meant to be talking about this right now, aren't I? It's not my favourite. I love it a bit though, you know, it's an easy 9 out of 10. But yeah, as I say, more versatile than the Parfum, more likeable to the masses, and, you know, a true intense flanker to the original, back when, you know, things made sense. You do smell an amberiness with it, the sweet amberiness, and that's probably coming from the ambrette seed. You know, the lavender is more detectable than I remember, actually. Maybe my nose has matured or evolved, upgraded if you want. But yeah, there is a freshness. There is a freshness with it, but it's powdery. It's not as makeup baggy, waxy as the Parfum. It's fresher. In fact, it's probably not even as waxy or creamy as the original, I think. It's lovely. It's lovely. I can't stop. I'll have to stop smelling it so I can move on. But yeah, Dior Homme Intense, absolutely beautiful. And if you follow the video all the way to the end, I've got some news. You might have already heard it, but if not, you'll have heard it here first. Now then, my favourite. Dior Homme Parfum. Why did they kill you? Now, there isn't a cacophony of notes in this. There's probably only about 6 or 7. But I mean, there's orange listed, but it's very difficult to pick it out. And, you know, Dior, master perfumer, it's got its reasons for being there. Us norms might not even be aware of it, or even, you know why it's in there, but it's there for a reason. Sometimes you might get some sort of citric sweetness or a bit of freshness. it's not what you think of when you smell this. What you think of when you smell this is that signature iris, the rose, which it's easily detectable. I would say that the iris is dosed higher than the rose, but the rose is there. It provides that elegance. This is more masculine than the Intense, even though there's things like rose in it, because of the leather and the oud. You've got, I think you've still got that Virginian cedar in the base, but it's joined by sandalwood this time, and that just even makes it smell, you know, that little bit more luxurious as well. Situationally, nowhere near as versatile as the Intense, which was nowhere near as versatile as any of the others. So there's a very specific set of situations and circumstances that this is right for, and that specific set is quite small. But those circumstances that it is right for, in my opinion, there's nothing better than this. It's classy, elegant, sophisticated. It really does smell like you should be wearing a tuxedo or something like that, black tie event, you know what I mean? Fantastic, excellent performance, really good for cold weather like now. I just think it is a masterpiece, and I think that that phrase is used far too often when we're talking about fragrances, but this, you know, it will always be in my 10 for life. And it's just such a shame that they've axed it. I can only hope, like I did say in the review of that shall not be named, I did say in that review that I'm hoping that, just like with the Dior Homme original, the backlash they got from 2020 forced their hand, and I think that's how it went down, forced their hand, and, you know, the Dior Homme original release came back. But maybe we'll have a Dior Homme Parfum original on our hands. Who knows? Or they might bring the scent profile back as a Dior Homme Elixir or something. I don't know. We can just hope. I don't know if all of the ingredients that they used in this is still widely available to them, thanks to IFRA regulations and stuff like that. But we'll wait and see. But yeah, not for everyone. Not widely available either. Well, not available at all now. But even when it was, you know, it wasn't widely available. And, you know, there's reasons for that. Focus group maybe decided that, you know, only a certain finite number of people tested actually resonated with it. But polarizing, very polarizing. And just like things that are polarizing, those people that it's right for absolutely love it to bits, like me. Dior Homme Parfum. Now then, let's check out this Dior Homme Sport. Yeah, I've skipped Dior Homme 2020. We'll talk about that in a sec. But I want to talk about this first because it'll make talking about Dior Homme 2020 a bit shorter. Because I prefer this. Nothing wrong with Dior Homme 2020. Nothing wrong with it at all. But I prefer this because of its versatility. It's very citric, very fresh. Elemi resin gives it, I think it gives it a bit of body and some life. Longevity too. Woody notes, olibanum, amber. But really, what you get from this when you wear it is that citrus. Really, really nice, well done, clean, like high quality citrus, and a bit of resinous and woodiness. There's aldehydes in here too. Don't know if I said that. But yeah, it's fresh, but not a freshie. Like, it's called Dior Homme Sport, but it's not strictly a sport fragrance. I mean, you could wear it in the situations that would require a sport fragrance, but it's more than that. And this is why I prefer it to Dior Homme 2020. It's everything that Dior Homme 2020 is, but with a bit extra. You know what I mean? It's a bit more versatile, and because of that, you know, you're going to wear it more often in more situations, and you know, you get more use out of it. If you're wanting something a bit more, I like this, but a bit more subtle and maybe classier. So for you know, you could wear this everywhere that you could wear Dior Homme 2020 and then some. But for like, maybe if you're in an office environment, or if you had a job like an executive job or something like that, I think Dior Homme 2020 would be more suitable for that. So it is a little bit more suitable for formal wear than this is, but I very rarely find myself in those situations. But you know, so I prefer this. But yeah, it's fantastic. Really good performance as well for its scent profile. 8 hours of noticeable wear easily on my skin. Yeah, really, really nice. Forgot how much I like this, to be honest. Fantastic. Now this is the like I say, this is the 2021 formulation. I tried the 2017. I prefer this one. I think the yellow resin maybe in the 2017 was a bit more, but I might be wrong. But yeah, Dior Homme Sport, fantastic. Yeah, so we'll just quickly gloss over this Dior Homme 2020. Not as bright or as fresh as Dior Homme Sport. Bit smoother. A little bit greener. Like the vetiver, I think it's vetiver in this too. It's and patchouli. So it's a little bit earthy. Smells more refined as well. Could easily wear it anywhere though. It's not something that, you know, you couldn't wear casually at all. Very, very versatile. But I think the Dior Homme Sport is more versatile. It was hated when this was first released because everyone thought it was the end of Dior Homme original, you know, with the iris. But thankfully brought it back, which, as I've said, I'm hoping they'll do with the legendary version of Dior Homme Parfum. Very, very good good performance. Pretty much a skin scent after 8 hours though. But you know, people say it's Dior's answer to Bleu de Chanel. Very different fragrances. But maybe it was, you know, the success of Bleu de Chanel, maybe that's what forced their hand to pull the plug, or at least they thought they were pulling the plug on Dior Homme original with the iris. But thankfully they brought it back. But this, very, very good. Yeah, very good. You can see why it was hated though. Don't kill the iris. Now then, Dior Homme Cologne. If this performed better, it would be legendary. I've only just recently got this in, actually. I had a decant of it for ages, but I got it in because, well, it was at a good price, and it doesn't perform well at all. In fact, it's got poor performance. If you can still smell this after 4 hours, then you've either doused yourself in it or you've got like the nose of a bloodhound. But by God, does it smell good. Citric and musky. People say it smells like iced lemonade. Pretty much does. It really has got that cooling effect, you know. Ideal for really blazing hot weather. Sharp. Not at all sweet. You know, it's not a sweet citric fragrance. It's sharp. Musky. Citrus. I like to wear, like I said, I had a decant of this for some time. I like to wear something like this, getting out of the shower, you know. It's not going to last very long, so you get out of the shower, you just want to freshen up, spray this, and then, a couple of hours later, spray something else. It smells so good though. Really, really good. As I say, if this performed better, more people would talk about it. But, I mean, the frosted like white glass on the sides just tells you everything. This bottle smells how it looks. Like an ice cube. Like a citric ice cube. But yeah, if you're wanting something for the summer months that, perfect for nipping out for a little short time, a couple of hours out of the house in the high heat. You wanting something to freshen you up and invigorate you. You'll struggle to do better than that. Honestly, you will. Such a good scent. Really, really good. I don't know if they'll ever do anything with this to improve the performance, because it will alter the profile and it'll cease to be what it is. But, layer it with some ISO Super or something like that. Dior Homme Cologne. Great for the summer. And then Francis Kurkdjian came and released this. And you know what, right? Let's talk about this objectively. Absolutely fantastic opening. Fantastic. I've worn this today. In fact, it's on my shirt. And you know what? Like, in the deep dry down, it smells like Ralph's Club Elixir without the incense. Well, it just smells like the iris that's used in Ralph's Club Elixir, probably. But there might be more things that's used in here that's also in Ralph's Club Elixir. But that's what it reminded me of today after, it's been a serious amount of hours since I first sprayed it. But it was very, very underwhelming and anticlimactic for me. Because it's just there's nothing here that we haven't seen before, especially lately, and the negativity that it conjured up in me was more to do with the death of the original. If this had been released as, just like when they released Dior Homme 2020, if that had been released as a Dior Homme Boisé, so to speak, Dior Homme Wood, and they just kept Dior Homme original, then I think people would have been all over it quicker, because they wouldn't have been as reluctant, because the original was still there. Now this is going to be sold worldwide, and that wasn't. The Dior Homme Parfum original wasn't. So, and it is more mass appealing. That is definitely for a very much smaller number of people, for a very much smaller number of occasions. So yeah, and financially it makes sense to them, because they're going to move more units, going to make more money. And I don't know, did Francois Demarchi know this was coming? Like, did they get him in as like, right, we're going to have a little bit of a change of creative direction here. We're going to offer you more money, Mr. Demarchi, but you're just going to have to jump through hoops and do what we say. Your creative ideas and your perfume mind isn't going to really be required as much. So just basically just dumb everything down, make it more mass appealing, and just do what we tell you. And he was like, you know what, shove your job up your ass. There's a lot of people that are loving it, and those people that love it probably never liked Dior Homme Parfum, and the reverse is also true. It's a slightly better performer than I first thought as well, but it's just very forgettable. Very, very forgettable and very redundant in my collection. And the less said about it, the better. But I don't feel as bitter about it as I did at first. I've worn it for a few days this week, and I've enjoyed wearing it. It is a good scent. Don't get me wrong. It is a good scent. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty nice. You know, it's enjoyable. But it's not that. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Sorry, I've took a while as usual when I'm talking about a few things at once. But as promised, when I done this, I would do a buying guide. And you know, you sort of forget about that unless you want to spend silly money on eBay. And also, this is going to be pretty much soon the same thing, because it's off Dior's website. I don't know where else you're going to be able to find it. There might be some discounters and some, you know, some retail sites that still have it available. There will be, you know, the units didn't disappear overnight. They're still out there. And here's the news about Dior Homme Intense. They're re-releasing that. Apparently, there's been a word that they're not altering the formulation at all. We'll see. Apparently, it's just a rebranding to go in line with this, you know. So maybe it's only going to be available in 75 mils. Who knows? But we'll see. Stay tuned. So, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in once again. And as usual, I always say, if you're liking what you see, please smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already and you want to see some more, hit subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so that you can be notified next time I drop some scented nonsense. So until next time, guys, stay fresh, stay clean, take care.